Hello, welcome to episode 9 of Coaching the Coaches. My name is Connor Cunningham. I have many interests in sports, rugby, hockey, hurling, football, Gaelic football, excuse me. I've interest in athletics. I love sports really, except sort of maybe cricket. I like NFL, but my main passions would be football, rugby, and Gaelic games. I have a foundation course in GAA, and this series is just for parents and novice coaches, just to give them a wee bit of info, so that they would be more knowledgeable when they go onto the pitch to make their own philosophy when that happens. Um, this is not this is not a sort of series for dictating. It's a series for trying to help new coaches or parents of teams to progress and to understand why coaches do what they do. I have decided that I'm going to split the episodes up now and just talk about one topic per episode, because I want to have them bite-sized videos so that people can enjoy them, but they're not going to be on for talking hours and hours. So today we're going to be talking about 4-4-2, the formation in football. This is it here. It's a very, very conventional thing. It was the English formation for years and years and years, until probably the last 20 years, and then things have started to change and you've seen more 4-5-1, more 4-3-3. There is no rules in football, except that there has to be a goalkeeper. The other 10 players of the 11 players that enter the field can play wherever they want, or wherever the coach would like them to play in the senior game. This year formation was used for years and years. The reason that this is was very well thought of was because it gives you balance, in terms of you have two centre backs. There we go. So this here is your right back, your right hand back. This is your centre right hand back. This is your left centre half back, centre back, and this is your left back. And this is your right midfielder, your centre midfielder, your centre midfielder, your left midfielder, and then two centre forwards. The reason that this was so well looked at from an English point of view and from an Irish point of view was because it gives you more of an advantage when defending. If the team was playing against you was playing this formation, then you would already have two centre backs to cover these two players. So then if these players came up forward, then they're nullifying it, because your teammates, they would be picking up the midfielders and then the two forwards. So you've always got four at the back to protect the goalkeeper. That was the main reason for this. It also allows for width, and it also allows to get crosses into the box. It used to be less so nowadays, that people would cross a ball repeatedly, giving the ball away really, and they wouldn't even have thought, or the coach wouldn't even have thought twice about what exactly they're up against. If they were up against a player like Aguero, who's 5'10", I think, and then you're going up against Van Dijk, who's 6'4", there's no point in crossing the ball into him, because he might be faster, but that's no good in the air. Because as I said last week, you can't be faster than the ball. It's just impossible. You just can't. So you need to understand. Now, this is why people still prefer this formation, but it is a wee bit outdated, so some people aren't keen on using it. It's still a fantastic formation. The only problem will be with this formation is you have to adapt to your opponent. this formation, that's why it sort of went by the wayside, because if you're playing a 4-5-1 against that formation, well, you have one player. These 4 players have to try and pick up one player. So what a lot of coaches were doing is, if you're playing against a 4-5-1, you'll have one of these players, right back or left back, who is apt at playing as a third centre back, as I covered in one of the previous weeks. What week was that? I can't remember now. So sorry about that. 3-5-2 means that you have one player. If you're playing a 4-5-1, you wouldn't use this formation, and the reason for that, like I say, is because you would have 4 players against 1. In the midfield, you would have 5 against 4, and at the back, you would have 4 against 2. So you're going to make it very difficult for yourself, because when you're outnumbered in all them places except at the top of the pitch, which you don't want to, because at the top of the pitch you go 4 against 1, you're at a disadvantage. And that's why this has changed a lot, because coaches now have become more and more clever. They've become more and more adept at tactical awareness, so that they're not as forgo of this formation. Now, that doesn't mean it's not a good formation. It just means that if you were playing against a 4-3-3, a Manchester City or a Liverpool, just to come up ahead, or a Bayern Munich, you could play a 4-4-2. It would work relatively well, but you would need your 2 full backs to be very disciplined, to make sure that they don't go above, and to allow that to allow for there to be an advantage, because there's one player spare in that line. Now in the middle line, you've also got an advantage over 3/4, or 4/3, sorry. So you have to use that to your advantage, but you need your right and left midfielder to work extremely hard, because if it's anything like Klopp or like Guardiola's Manchester City, they will try and put the wing backs. They will try and tuck the wing backs in. They'll try and tuck the left and right back in the Guardiola system, so that they have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of play. Now, what exactly that means is, this is your pitch, right? Very, very poorly drawn. Now you can see why I'm not an artist. There's your first line. Guardiola, this is why he likes to play. This is your first line. That will be Walker, that will be Laporte, and that will be Stones. Alright? The 3 centre. So the first right back tucks in. Okay? Then you have these next 2 lines, right? So this is already your second line. Alright? You haven't even got to the centre circle yet. That's going to be Zinchenko and Fernandinho, okay? Or Rodri. So them 2 have already. So you have a 5-man defence. The reason for that is to stop counter-attacks, okay? They want to build from the back. Guardiola's teams want to build from the back. They want that John Stones passes it to Laporte, who passes it to Walker, who passes it to Zinchenko. That's what they want. They don't want to win the ball up high like Klopp's Liverpool does. They want to nearly use the same rotation, the same players all the time. And if they do duck and change, they want that to be all the time. So then you have Aguero there. You have So this is what we have. Then you have De Bruyne and Foden or Silva or somebody like that. Then you have Mahrez, Sterling, Aguero, Jesus. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of play. Now, if you try to mark that against 4-4-2, you have no chance. You have no chance. Even if you're the best 4-4-2 boy in the country, you are not going to be able to go against that. It's the same with Klopp. They all change. You can't say, listen, Gary Neville, I want you to mark Mane all the game. What if he swaps? Then what happens? Then before you know it, you have a player who's meant to be playing right back, who's good at crossing the ball. You're starting to think about the opposition too much. And that's why 4-4-2 has went out of the wayside a wee bit. And that's why it's going to be a long time before it's back, because managers now are using less forward players, but also having players behind them that they can progress and to involve themselves with the play. As you've seen with Liverpool, the right and left back are the assist givers, because they're getting the balls. Players know, get in the box, get the balls in. And that's where it really helps to do that. Now, that's just the formation. You can still use that formation, of course you can, but you will find trouble with it if the other opposition, and you have to adapt, and you have to try and think of the traps of that, because if you have a player, you have to be well organised with that formation. Alright, so if you like what you hear, please subscribe and follow me on Twitter at CoachingCodes. Thank you. Sorry about that there. I just wanted to explain, this is the current All-Ireland football champions, Dublin GAA. This jersey is about 15 years old, but this was a really nice jersey that I really liked whenever they first came out. They are a phenomenal team. They've just completed a record 5 in a row. They have serious talent, and if you have any chance to Google Dublin GAA, you're in for a treat. But the hurling is getting better. They're well financed, they're a well professional team, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they are a superb team, and that is the Dublin GAA jersey. So thank you very much, and see you all next week.